2 weeks ago, The Boys finally ended. 2 weeks ago, this channel didn't exist. If this channel existed 2 weeks ago, then we probably would have reviewed it 2 weeks ago. But as is life, we're getting amongst it now. There are going to be spoilers ahead. I think, as you can see by the title of this video, I wasn't too impressed. Look, man, when I first watched this thing 2 weeks ago, I definitely didn't hate it as much as everyone else did. But I have gone back and watched it again recently. And unfortunately, I probably shouldn't have done. Because the second time around watching it, it became really crystal clear how much stupid shit, how nonsensical this finale really was. Before we even get into any of the stuff that I want to talk about, I want to bring up the two posters that Amazon promoted this season with. The first one with Homelander in space, looking down at planet Earth. That, to me, screams scorched earth. You've got the explosions in the background, things are on fire, smoke, everything, and Homelander is just looking on at it. This doesn't happen. Not only that, we don't even come close to this happening at all. This poster is a complete lie. And the second one is Butcher in front of the fallen Vote Tower with the crowbar in his hand. Now, other than Butcher holding a crowbar, again, this image doesn't happen. Vote Tower doesn't fall. There's no scorched earth, nothing. This, to me, felt as though Amazon Prime had looked at it and gone, the fans expect scorched earth. We've pulled the money from them because we want to pump it into Vote Rising, because we want to keep the machine going. We want to sponge them for as much as possible. So we're going to lie to them. We're going to have this poster of Homelander looking down at scorched earth, and we're going to have Butcher with his crowbar in front of scorched earth. None of this happens at all. So both these posters and the promo for this was an absolute, it was a rug pull. It was an absolute piss take. So let's get into what actually happened in the finale. Look, man, a lot of people have got an issue with the Oval Office scene, and even when I watched it the first time around, I knew that wasn't for me at all. It didn't work. Even before we get to the Oval Office scene, how the boys, I can feel myself. I'm going to try and keep this video as short as possible, because I possibly could sit here and talk about this for the next 500 hours. Look, how is it possible that we've spent 5 seasons and this episode starts out where the boys still don't have a plan to get Homelander? How has that happened at all? That happens because the smartest person in the world, Sister Sage, screwed the pooch the episode before. It made no sense whatsoever. So when you go back and you watch the finale, the final episode of this season, we are less than an hour away from the whole thing being done with, and the boys have no plans to get to Homelander. Then all of a sudden, in the space of 15 minutes, Kimiko's got the Soldier Boy power because she harnessed the radioactive energy, and now Kimiko's the plan. Butcher says to all the boys, this is a plan, one final Hail Mary, what do you reckon? And we're all getting amongst it. There is then a 10-minute window between him making that plan and them getting to the Oval Office. How is that possible? How is that possible? Is it simply the fact that Amazon pulled your funding so much because they want to pump it into Vote Rising that you didn't have the time? How is it not the case that when we got to the penultimate episode that we are already at the White House? We should have spent the first half an hour of this episode getting through security, getting to Homelander, and it's the struggle, and we don't know who's going to survive or what. And instead, what we got is they walk through a bunch of JFK sex tunnels, and 2 guys shoot at them for about 2 minutes, and then Ashley comes and saves them. That's the whole entire struggle of them trying to get to Homelander. A best of 5 minutes thing. It didn't work for me at all, man. I thought it was really pathetic. How that has been allowed to happen, I think, is absolutely crazy. But anyway, let's just go to the Oval Office thing, because the Oval Office scene is probably the worst thing about it. The power inconsistency is a joke. A complete and utter joke. The first episode of this season, Homelander does 2 things specifically. He lasers the living piss out of Kimiko, slices her in half. He then flies and chases down the fastest man on Earth, right? 2 things. You fast forward then to the end of this season, the final episode, and now all of a sudden, by the way, he's got V1 in him, so he's stronger than ever. Now he lasers Kimiko twice. Go back and watch the scene. He actually lasers her twice. No hole, no damage, no slice. And he can't fly away at the speed of light anymore, even though he does the exact same thing in, the first 10 minutes of this episode, where he grabs hold of the Elon Musk character and he flies him into space, and then in the space of 2 seconds, he flies into space and gets back down to Earth. But in the Oval Office scene, for whatever reason, when he's fighting Butcher, when he's fighting Ryan, when he's fighting Kimiko, he can't fly away. And even, man, it's not the actor's fault, and it's not the writer's fault, but the production of it all. Why does it look like he's just on strings and he's just like slowly trying to fly at them all? This is possibly the last fight he's ever going to have. And Kimiko's right there. And it feels like there's no urgency from him at all. It's just he's trying to get a hand and he's trying to fight his way through. And there's so many times, there's one scene in particular, and I've not seen a lot of people talk about this, where he grabs Butcher and he flies him up and smashes him into the roof. How is it possible that the Homelander we've seen from season 1 to season 5, who now has V1 in him, how has he not just shot Butcher straight through the goddamn roof? Where is the scale of power for Homelander in this final episode, man? It's ridiculous. And it bugs you and it does bother you because you've rocked with this series. You know, if you're like me, you've rocked with this series since season 1. You've absolutely loved it. I'll hold my hand up and admit the past 2 seasons have been a bit piss weak, to be honest. I think it's got a lot more childish. The writing's got a lot more childish with all the shit jokes and the dick jokes. So I definitely think it's lost a little bit in the past couple of years. But this is the final fight, the final battle. This is the thing that we've been promised. This is the scorched earth we've been promised, and this is what we get, man. I think it sucked lemons completely. But regardless, man, you take Kimiko out of it, you take Ryan out of it, which again, I don't mind any of the characters. I actually think Ryan had huge potential in this thing, and I think they wasted him. I think Ryan really could have been a huge character in regards to all of this. But the biggest thing for me was, since season 1, there's only one fight and one battle that we've all wanted to see. Butcher versus Homelander. And we didn't get it. Not once. At the end of Herogasm, Butcher has to have Huey on Temp V, himself on Temp V, and Soldier Boy fight Homelander. They pin Homelander down. Again, another example of how stupid the power scale is. Homelander with Soldier Boy on top of him, with Butcher and Huey either side, can break out and fly away. But he can't do the same thing in the Oval Office, even though he's got V1 running through him. It's ridiculous. But then we get to the final episode of the final season of the whole series. This is it. Butcher finally gets what he wants. Him, Homelander. Ryan's there, Kimiko's there. And even when Kimiko finally takes away Homelander's powers, we don't get Homelander versus Butcher. We get Homelander go to punch him. Butcher holds his wrist and he just pummels him a couple of times and then stands over him while Homelander just goes, "I'll suck your dick, I'll eat your shit, blah, blah, blah." Crowbar jobby and we're out of there. What was it? After Homelander loses his powers, it's the best of maybe 3 minutes of Butcher just talking to him, beating him up, and that's it. Now, for me, this wasn't the end of the world, but it does suck at the fact of, this is really what we've waited for 5 seasons. We got 3 minutes. We got, if you really deep it, we got about maybe 10 seconds of Butcher smashing Homelander in the face. We got an extra minute of dialogue, and then we got the crowbar. That's it. So realistically, when you really deep it, it's less than 3 minutes. This is what we've waited for. This is really what it would build up for. I think, I'm not trying to tell the writers how to do their job, but I think for the fans, it would have been so much better if Kimiko takes the powers away and then we just get a 5-minute fight scene between Butcher and Homelander, or maybe Homelander tries to run away from Butcher and Butcher's trying to grab hold of him and stuff, and they're like making their way through the White House or something. I'm not too sure. Again, I'm not a writer for Amazon, so I don't know, but it's just, I felt really disappointed that this is something that I've really been looking forward to, and that was how it ended. I just thought it really sucked ass. And there's one other thing that really sucks ass, and I will jump into a few positives to end this off, because again, overall, man, I have been a huge fan of this series. I feel like shit that I'm having to sit here and talk about all the negatives, so I would want to end on some positives. But the one final thing, and look, there was a few other negatives as well, like the Sister Sage thing, just being a really stupid character in the end of it. But the final negative that I want to end on, the V1 and Soldier Boy storyline throughout this whole season finale was a f***ing joke. It was stupid. It was shit. It was pointless. We didn't need it at all. It made no sense. So in the comics, I've not read the comics, but in the comics, how it ends is, from what I've been told, Black Noir ends up being a clone of Homelander. The clone kills Homelander, and then Butcher crowbars the clone. If I've got that wrong, let me know in the comments, but that's what I've been told. What they decided to do in this final season was, we've got the what's it called? The virus. Let's test it out on people. Soldier Boy ends up getting involved because he's got brought of ice again. Of course he has. Soldier Boy gets involved, and now it's, oh shit, he's still alive because he's got V1 running through his system. So now Homelander finds out that he needs V1 to survive this virus. Here's what you could have done. Don't involve Soldier Boy. Homelander didn't have V1. The virus works. That's what you could have built the final episode to. It was so ridiculous. It felt so redundant that they'd put Soldier Boy and V1 into this entire season because the whole season revolves around it. And when you really pull yourself back of it, it was pointless. We could have got to this exact same conclusion. You could have got to Butcher in the Oval Office with the crowbar and Homelander without Soldier Boy, without V1. And I don't understand why they did it. The only reason I can think of is they were sat in the writing room going, right, we need Soldier Boy as a heavy component in this season finale because we need to promote Vote Rising. And they've gone, well, we don't really know, because the thing is, if they've got this virus from the last season, how's it really going to work? And then they've gone, oh, Brent, here's what we're going to do. F*** everything that we were planning on doing in the first place. Get Soldier Boy in there, and he will bring it to the table to Homelander that Homelander needs V1, and then we'll make the final 4 episodes about this V1. And someone in the writing room has gone, brilliant, absolutely world-class, Oscar nomination right there. Like, no, dude, fuck you. It was there, it was primed, it was ready. All people wanted to see was Butcher versus Homelander. And you confused it, and you complicated it all for some Vote Rising promo shite. Again, there's more negative to talk about, but I can't be arsed. I can't be arsed going scorched earth on this thing. Because it sucks, because I'm a fan, and I think it's a big shame. This is really made me not want to watch Vote Rising at all. I think, like, what am I going to do? Dedicate the next 5 years watching Vote Rising, and then when the next thing gets promoted, they're going to shit out and do the exact same thing again. I'm just really, before we get into the positives, I'm just really surprised, man. I'm really surprised that this is how this series has ended. I understand that the past couple of seasons have gone really childish in the writing and stuff, but even still, the action and the story, I think overall, if you take out the childish writing, you take out all the dick jokes and stuff, if you really look at the story between Butcher and Homelander, it was there, it was primed, it was ready. You idiots, it was ready. That's all we wanted. And you confused the living daylights out of it to a point where when Homelander is finally vulnerable, it lasts 3 minutes. And Butcher gets, what is it, 5 or 6 shots in and then 1 crowbar. Like, really? We spent 5 seasons getting to that. That's the biggest thing I just don't understand. I don't get it. Really? If you would have started out season 1, are you telling me that that's how you would have preferred the ending to be? I don't know, man. But anyway, look. Let's get into a couple of positives. I liked Homelander telling Deep how he felt. I thought that was really satisfying. Deep's obviously been a piece of shit since the get-go. Butcher's death I thought was really good. I thought, obviously, he dies in the comic books as well. I think Huey's the one to kill him as well for different reasons. But I thought this worked really well in the TV series because, again, Butcher, once Homelander's dealt with, Butcher, I think, has this mentality of, Ryan's knocking about again, and obviously he's still got his dog Terror. And then in the space of 2 minutes, Ryan says that he doesn't want anything to do with him. He's a bad man as well. And then he goes into the other room and Terror's died. And again, as an animal lover, man, that were horrible. And then just like a switch just flicks in Butcher and he's like, okay, I've got nothing else to live for. Screw these soups. We're going to go and get amongst it. So I liked the fact of it basically brought Huey to the dance, and Huey was like, look, I love this guy, but he's just turning into a psycho, and he would have turned into the villain like the comic books turned him into the villain if I don't deal with him. And so Huey deals with him, and Butcher understands why he did it. I thought it were really good. Huey doing the Butcher impression I thought was absolutely hilarious. Oi! Absolutely diabolical. I thought it were really good, man. I absolutely love, what's his name? Is it Jack Quaid? I absolutely love that actor, man. And when Deep screams no at Starlight, man, the memes have been running around for about 2 weeks about that, and I think it was so funny. There's probably a couple of other positives in there as well. And it's just a shame that I'm sat here talking about the boys You know, something that I've really rocked with for a long time, something that I've really enjoyed for a long time, and unfortunately there's just been a lot more negatives than positives. It's a shame and it sucks. But anyway, look, I'm going to leave it there before I start waffling on. Let me know what you think in the comments about all this. Another TV series that just couldn't stick the landing.
Look at your scumbag!